welcome to The Circular. I'm Lance Kerrigan, and wherever you're listening to this podcast, a very happy St. Patrick's Day. In the light of current circumstances of coronavirus and event closures, it might be easy to forget that today, March 17th, is in fact Ireland's national holiday, St. Patrick's Day. In this episode, we're going to explore the story of St. Patrick, why we celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and talk a little bit about the elephant in the room, which is that this year, St. Patrick's Day is virtually cancelled. As I've mentioned, St. Patrick's Day is celebrated on March 17th and is Ireland's national holiday. It commemorates Ireland's patron saint, St. Patrick. The day itself is a Christian feast day, celebrated on the traditional death day of St. Patrick in 461 AD. The feast started in the 17th century and is observed by the Catholic Church, the Anglican community, which includes the Church of Ireland, Eastern Orthodox Church, and the Lutheran Church. The day commemorates St. Patrick and the arrival of Christianity to Ireland. To find out more about St. Patrick, I visited St. Patrick's Cathedral in Dublin. And joining me is Katherine McCorrmack, Education Officer for the Cathedral. Katherine, I suppose we'll start off with just describing to our listeners, where exactly are we right now?
So at the moment we're actually sitting in the Lady Chapel within St. Patrick's Cathedral, and St. Patrick's Cathedral is the largest cathedral within Ireland, and we're based in the city centre in Dublin.
Who was St. Patrick?
So St. Patrick was a man who lived in the 5th century AD. He wasn't actually known as St. Patrick. His first name was actually Maewyn, and he was captured as a slave at the age of 16 by pirates and taken across. We're not entirely sure exactly where he was born. We think it could be Wales though. He was taken across and then forced to be a shepherd in Ireland, and he spent 6 years working as a shepherd before he was actually given a vision from God telling him that there was a boat waiting for him to take him home, and he took the boat home.
What got him into Christianity? What brought him to the man we know him to be today?
So one of the main factors that led Patrick to kind of delve into Christianity was while he was captured as a slave, he was extremely lonely, and he used to pray to God almost up to 100 times a day just to have that comfort that somebody was listening to him, and essentially prayed for a way to escape and to find his way back home.
And the story of the Shamrock, tell me a little bit about that.
So when St. Patrick returned to Ireland, he was converting the pagan Irish into Christians, and he realised that he needed to use features that, or like parts of the natural world that were essentially familiar to like the native Irish. So to explain the Holy Trinity, he actually used the shamrock because it has 3 leaves. So he explained it as being the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, all coming together to make one God. And snakes never existed in Ireland. It's a metaphor. Yes.
Is that it?
So we know that we didn't actually have any snakes in Ireland after the last ice age. The idea of St. Patrick getting rid of all the snakes out of Ireland is exactly that. It's a metaphor for getting rid of the pagans. If you look at biblical writing, the snake or the serpent is usually used to represent something that's either associated with the devil or something that's evil. So this idea of getting rid of snakes is more this idea of getting rid of pagans. Some neo-pagans have actually taken the snake as their own emblem to represent themselves now, which is quite interesting as well.
Yeah. Was St. Patrick the first Christian to Ireland?
We don't know for sure. I would say I think it's very unlikely that he was the only Christian that came to Ireland, but I think he is the one that has been used to explain how we've become Christians, because it's impossible to think that one man converted an entire island. He probably didn't do it alone, but he is the one that is known to have brought Christianity to Ireland originally.
And then that's why he has become our patron saint.
Exactly, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the cathedral.
Yeah.
What makes this cathedral special?
So what makes this cathedral special is the fact that it is a cathedral. It's the National Cathedral of Ireland. We're quite unique in the fact that we actually have 2 cathedrals in the city of Dublin, which is very unusual for medieval cities. Usually they only have 1. Our cathedral was built outside the city walls of Dublin a number of years after Christchurch. The building that we're sitting in now is almost 800 years old. It began to be built out of stone in 1220 AD. But we do have records of there being a church earlier. So in 1191, there are written records that talk about a church called St. Patrick's in Insula, which is Latin meaning on an island. So there would have been a small wooden church, which would have been surrounded on either side of tributaries of the River Poddle. There is legend that talks about St. Patrick coming to this site and baptizing people using a holy well. And for a number of years, we didn't really have any proof of that. We just knew that this was a legend. But in 1901, archaeologists discovered 6 Celtic grave slabs in the park just behind us, and one of the grave slabs was actually covering a well. So we think that that's the well that people are speaking about when they talk about these legends.
And you're currently busy reconstructing or doing some sort of construction work outside.
Yeah.
I saw on the way in.
Yeah, so at the moment we are undergoing one of the largest restoration projects that's happened in the cathedral since the Guinness restoration. So every single roofed slate has to come off and a new one has to go on. It's a massive project. We're using Clancy as our main contractors, who are amazing, and it's one of those projects where if it doesn't get done, it'll eventually mean the church will have to close, because we need a roof as any building does. So yeah, that's the main project that we're undertaking at the moment.
And are you fundraising for this?
We are. So we are still looking to raise another €4 million, and people can donate online.
Generally for St. Patrick's Day, what would you do to celebrate?
So starting from the outside in, our monument goes green for St. Patrick's Day, as many others do in the city. We also do a number of family events. So we have been running a St. Patrick drama session this week, where a number of school kids are coming into the cathedral and meeting St. Patrick himself, and it's been brought to life by the actors by Play It By Ear, and they get taken on the journey of St. Patrick throughout the cathedral. We would also do other events like concerts and stories of essentially describing St. Patrick's life. And then obviously one of our biggest things is the parade actually goes right past our cathedral as well. So we get a lot of tourists coming in to visit. A very common feature is a lot of the marching bands who play in St. Patrick's Day parade will actually come visit us as well with their families, which is quite a nice thing.
Brilliant. And of course this year things are looking a little different than normal because of the COVID-19. Thank you.
Yes, so due to the COVID-19, we're not entirely sure if we're going to be still open. We're still waiting to hear back on that at the moment. But a lot of our events have been cancelled. So for example, we've cancelled one of our family drama workshops because our main priority is keeping the public and our staff safe as well during this quite worrying time.
So in Ireland, we celebrate St. Patrick's Day through festivals, parades, ceilidhs, and we generally wear green, including the green shamrock. It would be in 1903 that St. Patrick's Day became an official public holiday in Ireland. The first Patrick's Day parade took place in Waterford that same year. And of course, a lot of these parades were to promote Irish Language Week, which started in 1903 and was very much around the time of the Irish Revolutionary period. This year is rather a very unusual situation in that you have both parades cancelled, pubs closed, and even Mass in much of the country, particularly in rural country, cancelled. In the case of Mass, a lot of Masses are being conducted online through webinars. This is a very unusual situation. There have been periods in the past where Paddy's Day has been cancelled or postponed, or impacts have been made locally, but it's quite unusual to have this scale of disruptions. The last time we've had this significant of an interruption was in 2001 during the foot and mouth or mad cow disease. In Ireland particularly, parades were postponed until May. But there are other examples of when local celebrations were cancelled. For example, in Canada in 1998, a major snowstorm struck most of the regions, resulting in a lot of cancellations of festivals. Environmental Canada is quoted as saying, "The storm was one of the biggest weather stories of the year, and on St. Patrick's Day nothing was green. It was the worst March snowstorm in 113 years. Returning back to Ireland and In a more local region, Longford, in 1984, the parade was cancelled because the army withdrew from the event because of Sinn Féin's involvement. Another interesting story is when Easter collides with St. Patrick's Day. In 1940, St. Patrick's Day was observed on the 3rd of April to avoid coinciding with Palm Sunday. This happened again in 2008 and was officially observed on the 15th of March. I was hoping to conduct some interviews with some of the tourists hovering around Dublin for celebrating the St. Patrick's Day week. However, because many had already travelled home due to flight restrictions, as well as government advice on personal space and social distancing, I've decided not to conduct any interviews. I don't think too many people would appreciate me approaching them on the street with a microphone, asking them questions in this current environment. Therefore, I will leave the podcast at this and wish you all a very happy and safe St. Patrick's Day.